welcome to FM Corner. I'm Danny Koontz, your host, Director of Relationship Management at WCE. Today, part one of a two-part conversation that we're going to have, and it talks about care and accountability for your team. Showing care and holding people accountable are not mutually exclusive of each other. Many times people think that way, that, okay, you're either a caring top boss or you're a hold accountable people type boss. You can be both. You should be both, but it's how you do it and how you go about it and perceptions that come about based on things that you do that we're going to talk about today and also next week. Showing care doesn't mean that you're not concerned with the outcome of how something happens. You obviously are, but you can still show care to the person in how you talk about it and how you want to make it better as you go forward. You also, there are tough decisions that have to be had sometime with members of your team to talk about and so on. It's not all warm and fuzzy, nice and kind, but it doesn't have to be mean. You still care. You just want people to respond and make sure that it's getting done the way that it needs to. Your job is to help guide the team to make better decisions with less mistakes the next time out. 4 items to talk about that will help you with this process. First, don't take the safe or the easy path and avoid difficult conversations. When you do that, you're not helping the person that you're going to be speaking to, because what happens over time is they figure out, I'm not accountable. I'm not being held accountable. It's okay, you did it wrong. Please do it better next time. Thank you very much, and move on. They don't learn anything. And then what happens is when something really bad goes wrong and you have to come in there and have a very difficult type conversation, say it was a $100,000 mistake or something like that, you can't, because you've never done that before. It's always been everything's okay, let's move on, and so on. Can't do that. Can't. So it makes you less effective as a leader. Don't talk around it. Difficult conversations are okay to be had. They don't have to be mean. They don't have to be cruel. But by the same token, you have to put out there what's went wrong and that you are working to be part of the solution. You want to help that person so they don't get put in this type situation again. Or the next time they will make a different type decision, which will be the right decision. That's okay. Don't bury it. You're not doing them any service, and you're not doing it to yourself as a leader, because other people will watch that and see. The second thing is the decision-making of what is right or what is wrong is essential. Everybody's going to make mistakes. The issue to talk about is, how do you make it better moving forward? That person may be upset, but you want to talk about, how can I help? Was there one particular person you could have checked one item with that might have helped prevented it? If that's it, then it's simply crossing all your T's prior to making that decision may have helped you as you go forward. They don't like it because it's wrong and you're coming in to speak about it, kind of like a parent does to a child. But at the same time, you're recognizing they did something, they tried to make it happen, it just didn't work. Okay, let's talk about how we do that as we go forward. Again, it's helping in education. It's helping that person have better success. What you're explaining to is, I expect you to do a great job. If something happens that you don't, my job is to help you get through that. And that's what you got to take time with. Next, to be vulnerable to decisions that you make on behalf of your team. Do you have a person or two that kind of gets different treatment than the others? One of the very first things members of your team will do is they'll notice that. How come when I made that mistake, I was called into so-and-so's office to speak about it and so on? When person B made that mistake, nothing was ever said, and we just moved on. So be careful about decisions and about equality and how you handle members of your team. You want to always try to handle everything in the same manner as best you can. And then solve the issue. Help that person figure out what happened, what caused it to go wrong, and what steps to put in place as you go forward so that they will be better the next time out. You want to build accountability with your team. As a leader, that's really important. Set clear expectations. What you're looking for, what you want, what you're driving, what drives decisions, and where you want your department to be. Speak to them about why you have them on your team. What are all the positives of what they do? And then what are the items that we're going to work on to move them up a level on the things that they may not be as good at? That's what you want to do as a leader. So set clear expectations and how you're going to manage to that. Create acceptance and approval when accountability is done, so the team sees what that is. When someone helps and takes over accountability and does it the right way, show that example to the team. Talk to them about it. If a person doesn't do it right, call that person in one-on-one and speak to them about it. But when it's done right, make sure the whole team knows so they can understand what true accountability really means. Be candid and open. Talk openly to them. This is what I expected and we missed it. We've got to be better. Otherwise, we're costing the company money. Let's work together on this to figure out what went wrong. Tell them you care about them. You have them on your team for a reason. You probably pick most of the people that are on your team. You want them to be great. You expect them to be great. You could have hired a whole bunch of different people, but you chose them. This is where they need to get to. This is the level. And you just talk about it. And that's okay. And people should be okay with those kind of conversations. And then last, give them the why. Give them the how. Give them everything about a decision that you possibly can. Not just, well, here's what we're going to do. They don't learn from that. What they learn from is the why and the how and reasons that drove the decisions that are made. It will help them when it's their time to make those decisions. And 3, these positive behaviors will help build accountability. The importance of owning your own decision. If you do it wrong, say you did. Don't blame it on anybody else. Know anything. I made a mistake. Just tell them. Be very upfront with that and teach them how to do that as well. Not just you, but everyone. Just own your mistake. And then what are you going to do about it? Take responsibility for your failures. If you didn't do something, again, it's all about ownership. People respect other people that own their mistakes and own things that didn't get done correctly. They're very willing to jump in to help you fix something if you made a mistake. What they won't do is help you over time if every mistake you make is blamed on someone else. They will get very wary of helping you. Acknowledge your mistakes, and also, how are you going to fix them? The question I always ask people when they walked in my office and said, I made a mistake. Okay, what was it? And what are you doing about it to make it right? Can't have part 1 without having part 2. Okay, you made a mistake. What are we doing about it? How can I help? How can I help you? And don't bury your mistakes. Don't bury them to your team. Don't bury them to not have conversations with people. Talk about them. You don't have to linger on them forever, but learning from things that went wrong and learning what accountability really means is crucial in a person's success. When you bury those decisions because you think it looks bad on you as a leader or something like that, or you only want to spin it so it's a positive conversation, you're not doing anybody any favors at all. Again, care and accountability, both are important, both can be used. They're not exclusive of each other. Show people you care, and there's many different ways to do that, but you also have to hold people accountable for their actions. That's the key to success. That's our episode for today. Hope you enjoyed it. Look forward to speaking to you next week when we will continue this conversation about care and accountability for your team. Thank you.